hope you're all well. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. I got this idea from Rye and I'm really excited to give this a try. It's basically a book scavenger hunt but in a bookstore, and I'm very excited. So the principle of this is that I've asked 5 of my booktube friends if they could give me a prompt. And then I go and look for some books that I'm interested in reading. These have to be books I'm interested in reading, not just random, because I'm not just picking them up, I'm actually buying these books that fit those prompts. So I'm really excited. I reckon this is going to be a lot harder than I think it will be. Somehow I've convinced myself that this will be a reasonably easy task to complete, but I also don't think that that's going to be the case. So the 5 people that I have asked to help me out with this are obviously Rye, because I got this idea from her, and the prompt that she has given me is book with flowers on the cover. Now, I don't know how easy this task is going to be. In my head, I feel like flowers on the cover is not a difficult thing to complete. However, books that immediately come to mind with flowers on the cover are things like 10,000 Doors of January, which I DNF'd. And probably some other stuff which I DNF'd. Once and Future Witches, I DNF'd that. It's got flowers on the cover. So I'm a little bit concerned, but hopefully it won't be too difficult. The next person I asked was Cassidy, and she gave me the prompt of between 300 and 350 pages, which seems like it would be really easy. So I'm hoping that's the case, fingers crossed. Then I asked Maddie, and she gave me the prompt of rainbows. She basically said that this can be anything. It can have rainbows on it. It can just be multicolored. It can be bright colors. It can be bold. Basically, pretty much bend it to my will. But as Maddie would, she is staying on brand and picking rainbows for her prompt. Then we have Beth, and she gave me the prompt of a book set somewhere I want to go. I feel like this could be pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie, because not a lot of books specify where they're set, or if they are, they're like small town places. So I don't know how easy this is gonna be. I don't know, I might have to bend this a little bit. And then last but not least, of course, I asked Ratbag if she would give me a prompt, my beautiful Jade, and she gave me the prompt of red and yellow on the cover, because that's what colour her hair is going today when I'm filming this. So again, I don't think that's going to be an easy task to complete. It seems very simple. It's 2 colours on the cover of a book, but I just don't know how easy that's going to be. So we're going to go to the Waterstones in Bolton instead of in Wigan today, because it is a little bit bigger and I haven't been there in a while. So, and I'm going to West Horton anyway for a massage. I'm really excited. So I thought that we will go to that one instead. I don't know how busy it's going to be. That will then kind of dictate how much talking I do in the store, or whether I just get a load of B-roll of the store itself and then come back and tell you what I picked up. But I'm really excited and I'm hyped. I feel like this would be a really fun one to do at the Deansgate store, but the store's just so big, I will be in there for hours. So without further ado, let's get our butts over to Waterstones in Bolton. Hello, we are now back from Bolton. I have thrown my hair up because my massage was so lovely, but it's a back, shoulder, neck massage, and I now have a bit of oil in the back of my hair, so I've thrown my hair up. But I had a good time, both the massage and in Waterstones. This challenge was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. I thought the rainbow one would be so easy for Maddie, and I honestly thought the 300 to 350 pages from Cass would be easy as well, and that was a little bit difficult too. So let's go through and tell you what I purchased from Waterstones today based off of my scavenger hunt with prompts from my friends. So Rye gave me the prompt of flowers on the cover. Now I picked up this book, I've seen it around everywhere. I didn't specifically have any interest in it, but I thought I would read the synopsis because I was really starting to struggle to find a book with flowers on the cover. So I thought I would read the synopsis, and it actually sounds really, really interesting. So I picked up The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This cover has got so many pretty flowers on it. It's also got butterflies on it and stuff. But it's very, very beautiful. And this basically follows two different timelines. So a forgotten history, a secret network of women, a legacy of poison and revenge. Welcome to the Lost Apothecary. So hidden in the depths of the 18th century London, a secret apothecary shop caters to an unusual kind of clientele. Women across the city whisper of a mysterious figure named Nella who sells well-disguised poisons to use against the oppressive men in their lives. But the apothecary's fate is jeopardized when her newest patron, a precocious 12-year-old, makes a fatal mistake, sparking a string of consequences that echo through the centuries. Meanwhile, in present-day London, aspiring historian Caroline Parswell spends her 10th wedding anniversary alone, running from her own demons. When she stumbles upon a clue to the unsolved apothecary murders that haunted London 200 years ago, her life collides with the apothecaries in a stunning twist of fate, and not everyone will survive. With crackling suspense, unforgettable characters, and searing insight, The Lost Apothecary is a subverse and intoxicating debut novel of secrets, vengeance, and the remarkable ways women can save each other despite the barriers of time. It doesn't necessarily sound like something I would usually pick up, maybe, but it was the whole, like, suspense and unforgettable characters and, like, you know, power to the women and all that stuff that I'm really intrigued about. So I'm very keen about this. I do like that it's got two different timelines in it, even though part of it is historical fiction, but it's not that long either. This one would have, no, it wouldn't have fit for Cassidy's because it's only 292 pages. So this is the one I picked for Rise, which was flower on the cover. Then for Cass we had 300 to 350 pages, and as mentioned previously, I didn't find this that particularly easy. I started off walking around with Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher for a while, which did have the correct number of pages, but after reading the synopsis like 3 or 4 times because of who I am as a person, and reading the first page, I decided that I didn't think that that would necessarily be one that I would enjoy. So I decided to have a quick look at the kind of, well, quick look, I mooched around this table about 4 times, where the, like, adulty romances are, like the Spanish Love Deception and It Happened One Summer and all of that good stuff. I have most of them, but one of them that I didn't have that I've had my eye on since it came out last year was Paybacks a Witch by Lana Harper. I'm fairly certain this did come out last year. Anyway, I've had my eye on it. I've had my eye on it since it did come out. Yeah, 2021. So this one sounds really, really interesting, and the page count on this is 340. So we were just in with 10 pages to go. So this is following 2 witches plot revenge but end up falling in love in this magical romantic comedy, following Emmy Harlow, who's a witch but not a very powerful one, in part because she hasn't been home to the magical town of Thistlegrove in years. Her self-imposed exile has a lot to do with a complicated family history and a desire to forge her own way into the world, and only the very tiniest bit to do with Gareth Blackmore, heir to the most powerful magical family in town, casual breaker of hearts and destroyer of dreams. But when a spellcasting tournament that her family serves as arbiters for approaches the pull of tradition or the truly impressive parental guilt trip that comes with it is strong enough to bring Emmy back, she's determined to do her familial duty, spend some quality time with her best friend Lyndon Thorne, and get back to her real life in Chicago. On her first night home, Emmy runs into Talia Avramov, an all-around badass adept in the darker magical arts who is fresh off a bad breakup with Gareth Blackmore. Talia has let herself be charmed, only to discover that Gareth was also seeing Lyndon, and now she and Lyndon want revenge. Only one question remains: is Emmy in? But most concerning of all, why can't she stop thinking about terrifyingly competent, devastatingly gorgeous, wickedly charming Talia? That sounds so interesting. Also, it's queer, so I'm here for this. I love a good witchy read. And I had my eye on this around the time that I was reading The Ex-Hex, which I really, really enjoyed last year as well. So I got this one for Cassidy's prompt. Then Maddie picked Rainbows. Now, I don't know why I found this so difficult. There are so many colourful book covers out there. Ironically enough, the one that I have picked for Jade could have worked for this as well. But I saw this book and I really wanted to pick it up, and I just couldn't get it to fit any of the other prompts. It was too big for between 300 and 350 pages. Was it? Yes, just. It's 351. It was too big for that. It didn't fit for any of the others. So I decided to put it on for Maddie's, but I don't think it's necessarily colourful enough, so I don't know if I've quite nailed this prompt, to be honest. Mads can let me know. However, it's queer, so I'm hoping that that makes up for it. We'll see. So the book that I did pick up was I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey Mcquiston. I've been wanting to read this one for ages. I really enjoyed Red, White and Royal Blue and also One Last Stop. So I do want to read this one, and I'm a little bit sad that it only comes in hardcover. I would have got it in paperback preferably, but it's not necessarily what I would call rainbow, but it is it's got multiple colours on it, and it is, you know, bright and vibrant. Maybe, I don't know. Either way, underneath the dust jacket is very pretty too. I don't know. I don't know if it counts. It's queer. Whatever. I want to read it. So this says, a month before graduating from Willow Grove Christian Academy, the principal's perfect daughter, prom queen Shara Wheeler, kisses Chloe Green and vanishes. On a furious hunt for answers, Chloe discovers she's not the only one Shara kissed. There's also Smith, Shara's longtime sweetheart, and Rory, Shara's bad boy neighbour with a crush. Thrown into an unlikely alliance, Chloe, Smith and Rory follow Shara's trail of annoyingly cryptic clues, and Chloe starts to suspect that there might be more to this small town and to Shara than she thought. Fierce, funny and frank, Casey Mcquiston's I Kiss Shara Wheeler is about breaking the rules, getting messy and finding love in unexpected places. It sounds great. So I got this one for Maddie's. I just don't know if it properly counts. We'll see. We'll see what Mads says. For Rat Bags, I had to pick something with red and yellow on the cover. This was a huge struggle because the book that I wanted to pick was Hide by Kirsten White. I'll show a picture of it here, but they didn't have it because I had this one in mind. I've been wanting to get it for ages, but they didn't have it, and I'm really sad because that's the book I wanted to get and it would have been perfect for this prompt. However, they didn't have it in stock, so no can do. But I ended up hunting around. I was in the store for like an hour and this was the last book that I got, and I ended up picking up Ramazia Ever After by Radia Hafiza. I read the first one of this because of Jade, which was Ramazia Fairy Tale, and I really enjoyed it. It was good. I think I gave it 3 stars. It's middle grade fairy tales essentially, but with a twist, and I enjoyed it. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fiercest one of all? Ever since she escaped her town, Ramazia has been searching the land far and wide, determined to find her long-lost parents. But after she receives a mysterious invitation from Sarah White, Queen of Bishnara, she is soon pulled into a dark magical adventure, one that threatens her own happily ever after. I think it counts. It's got yellow, it's got some bits of red in. I'm going to say it counts. It's a middle grade, it's perfect for Jade. It is what it is. And then finally we have Beth, whose prompt was to pick a book set somewhere that I would like to go. This again was difficult. I found several books that I would like to pick for this prompt, but they didn't specify where they were. A lot of them were like small towns, and I thought about bending the rules for that, because in general I would love to go to like a small town that's got a witchy vibe to it. But I decided to pick this one up because it's been on my radar for a while. It is a thriller, and I had it on my wish list for ages, and then I saw it in the store and I was like, oh my god, that's perfect. It is set in America. Now, I enjoy going to America. It's one of my favorite places to go. New York specifically, but this is set in Minnesota and I've never been there. So, I'm gonna say it counts. I like to go to the States, and it's somewhere different than where I live. So I got Girl 11 by Amy Suter Clark, a podcaster seeking answers, a killer lying in wait. This sounds right on my street. I love a movie. I love a movie. I do love a movie, but I love a book with podcast element in it. On the back it says, victims 20 years ago, the countdown killer went on a deadly spree. Each victim was a year younger than the last. Vigilante, true crime podcaster El Castillo has long been hell-bent on finding him and serving historic justice. Vengeance, now he's back. El must stop the countdown before the killer can claim his next victim. It sounds fantastic. I am going to try and get the audiobook if there is one available, because I do love audiobooks with a podcast element in them. They're fantastic. So those are the books that I picked up for this challenge. So we have the Lost Apothecary for flowers on the cover from Rye. We have Paybacks, a witch for between 300 and 350 pages from Cassidy. We have I Kissed Shara Wheeler for rainbows on the cover, or a colourful cover, from Maddie. We have Ramazia Ever After for red and yellow on the cover from Jade, and we have Girl 11 from Beth for Set Somewhere I Would Like to Go. So this is my little stack. I think it's quite a nice stack actually. I have some, you know, a bit of historical in there. I've got some romance, I have a middle grade, and I have a thriller. This might be a vibe for a reading vlog. Let me know if you'd like me to read these in a reading vlog, because I would actually, you know what? Let me know if you want to, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. Because I quite fancy doing that. So this was a fun time. I had a good time. Battery died before I could finish that off. I did also pick up Hope by Tom Parker while I was in Waterstones as well. I've been wanting to get this one since I knew it was coming out. Tom Parker was a member of The Wanted, who was one of my favourite bands when I was younger. And I say when I was younger, Tom was my age. Several years ago. And I didn't know Tom personally, but he was very close friends with one of my best friends, Sam. And her parents are mentioned in here several times. I've just seen Sam's mum, Jill, post a couple of clips from the book in which her and her husband are mentioned. And I really do want to read it. Tom passed away last month, I think it was now. Or earlier this month, and he had a brain tumour, and he's ended up passing away, leaving behind his wife and 2 kids, I think. So I would like to read this one. I think it's going to be heartbreaking. But I wanted to let you know that I picked this up also whilst I was in Waterstones. I was going to try and fit it in, but it just didn't fit any of the prompts. It's less than 200 pages. There's no flowers on it. There's no colour on it. So, you know, and it's essentially Tom's life, so it's set in the UK mostly, unless, you know, he travels on tour and stuff like that. But I wanted to get that one as well. So yeah, that's my stack. I had a good time. This was great. I might try and do it again in the future, next time I go book shopping. Pick some other booktube friends and see what ridiculous prompts they come up with. I am really sad about that one for Rat Bag though. Like, I would have loved to have gotten Hyde. I'm glad I've got this. Like, I do want to read it, but I would have loved to have gotten Hyde. I think I did all right, to be honest, in the end. Fingers crossed she's all right with that one. I think I Kissed Shara Wheeler was the one I failed at the most, to be honest, with the rainbows. It shouldn't have been I should not have been that hard. I nearly picked up, is it called The Gay Club or something? I'll show it here. I nearly picked that up. But it's a very chunky book, and it's YA, and I'm not reading a lot of YA at the moment. She says picking up I Kissed Shara Wheeler. But I feel like these read a little bit older in general anyway. So I'm not reading a lot of YA, and it just sounded around the age of YA that I'm not necessarily picking up too much anymore, if that makes sense. So I didn't end up picking that one up, but that would have been perfect. The cover on this is so rainbow and so queer, so that would have been perfect. But I didn't want to pick books up just for the sake of completing the prompt. I wanted to pick books up that I actually wanted to read as well. So that's what I did. Hopefully that's all right. But I had a good time. Thank you so much to my angels for giving me some prompts. I really do appreciate it. And again, I got this idea from Rye. I will leave a link to her video where I saw this done in the description box down below. I have no doubt there's many more that have been done since then or previously, but that's where I saw it for the first time and I had a great time. So thanks, Rye, for the inspiration and for your prompt, and thanks, girls, for your prompts. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.